Welcome back to the Krabby Club podcast. My name is Random Victory, and today we're going to be reviewing, another reviewish video of Pacific Rim Uprising. I couldn't remember the name. Pacific Rim Uprising. So, I personally think it should have been something else. It's just, with the movie called Uprising, I think it would have been better if they did it what The Quiet Place is doing, how they released their main movie and now a prequel to the events of that. And yeah, I actually want to go see that one. And I didn't get to see Quiet Place, but I eventually saw it when I rented it out, and now I actually want to go see it. And they should have done that with Pacific Rim, shown us how the creations of the Jaegers happened, how the world was shit at that point. I want to see how maybe a clip of how that rift happened. Get a little bit more detail of how he became, how Gypsy is nuclear powered and everyone's different. I want to know more about the beginning rather than what's happening now. Because first of all, a lot of people talked about it. I really don't care about their opinions because it wasn't a bad movie. It's just I was kind of disappointed there wasn't enough monsters. There was so much kaiju action in the other one, or kaiju related talking, and this one just had, the actor wasn't bad, but it wasn't my favorite. I didn't really care for the kids. It's like, why? Is the kid's a genius? Wow. Again? It's like I've seen that. I've seen it in a few things where, it's like he's an expert and then the kid's a genius. It's like, who the frick cares at this point? And so I wanted something different. And then when they showed the Gundam statue, I was like, I'm pretty sure that was Unicorn, the one they showed. I was like, Unicorn is a newer thing. So that doesn't kind of fit with the entire world premise, being that I don't think it would exist. I don't think Unicorn would exist. It just doesn't make sense. Maybe the original Gundam statue, if they had one from the original, like if they had a statue from the original and not Unicorn, But I don't care for that part. The ending part was actually pretty decent. The human villain was just stupid in general. I didn't like that. It was just it was kind of just stupid for a minute there. When there was a rogue Jaeger in the movie, for a minute there, I was like, what would happen if the captain, whatever his name was, that sacrificed himself to blow up the rift, to seal it off, actually ended up surviving the other side, becoming controlled by these parasite kaiju from the other side, controlled by whoever's the mastermind of that world, and then coming back to destroy us, take us down, being that there's no limitations now, But no, it ends up, it was a Jaeger with a mutant brain kaiju, and that they look cool. But the entire thing was not my thing. It would have been cool if we saw something like, even though I don't like Evangelion, I like the robots. The only reason I like it-ish is because of Evangelion, we have Shiryu. If you don't know what Shiryu is, go check it out. It's Mechagodzilla, but in the Evangelion universe. People say who would win, Unit 1 or Godzilla. It's Godzilla, no matter what. It's like, unlimited power. Hello. And also depends on which version you fight against. If it's Shin, it's practically destroyed. There's no one left. But I would have preferred something like that, how the creature, how the Unit 1 transforms into that creature living berserk mode, and rather than whatever we had in the movie, if it became a biological, half cyborg, half Yeah, just a cyborg, half machine, half life form, kaiju. That would have been better than robot-ish ninjas, whatever was in the movie. At that point I was like, oh my god, I haven't seen a kaiju in the entire movie. At least give me one. And yeah, we got like, what, 6? And then became super kaiju. And then the fighting was kind of stupid. I really didn't like it. It was the ending conclusion with the whole rocking, flying, and momentum. Seemed like something that would end up in a anime, not something that would actually end up in that. But it was off for me. That's what I'm trying to say. That part of the movie was just off. Yeah, the whole like human villain just was stupid. And then when we saw it that his wife Alice, or I think that was her name, that creepy brain thing was the thing he kept talking about. Oh, I was disgusted. That thing was it reminded me of that Sylvester Stallone movie in the future, where he got frozen because of a villain that also got frozen, just in case. So the villain got frozen, and the character of Sylvester Stallone got frozen as well, just in case if he ever got free in the future. A few years passed, and it happened, so Stallone was released from Frozen, whatever. And one of the female characters is like, okay, let's have sex. And rather than having the barbarian one, they had this weird mental one where they put some helmet on and they were just like thought by thought. He was like, what the hell is this? And she was like, it's sex. It was like, I was expecting the other one. It's like, oh, you mean that barbaric thing? Yeah, that reminded me of that scene in the movie, and I saw that as a kid a few years ago, right before high school, or even before high school, or even maybe between middle school, and it was weird, that scene in Pacific Rim Uprising. I didn't like it. Now I know why people hated it. I personally hate it because the stupid kaiju thing that ended up being until the end of the movie, and the human villain, I hated that guy. It's like he was a good person in the good character in the first movie, but in this one he just sucked. It's like he was trash. And I didn't mind the whole Asian, like a ton of Asians, but do you really have to talk Chinese or do the whole like practice on your Chinese? It's like, oh my god, shut the frick. They mentioned that like 3 times, and the guy trying to speak it was more racist than anything else. I was like, why? I don't really care. I prefer how Japanese sounds over Chinese, but it was just cringy. It was so bad. I'm sorry, but if I would place this in monster movie ranks, I would even place it. I would throw it away and be like, no one's ever gonna remember Uprising. Whoop. Uprising sounds like the title you would give to a prequel, like the uprising of the human race against the kaiju, rather than the uprising against the kaiju going to the kaiju world, like they said in the end of the movie. It's like, this isn't over, and he was like, yeah, it's not over, we're coming for you next time. It's like, next time it's gonna be an ass movie too. I hope it's not another human villain escapes, all this happens, and it's like, I hope it's something better. And the whole Jaeger thing, yeah, there were some pretty cool ones, but just don't overdo it. Some of them reminded me of Overwatch characters or Paladin characters. It's like, they're not really original. It's like, and some of them just didn't move like robots, the weight that were given to them. They walked like, my favorite scene in the first Pacific Rim was when he grabbed the boat and he was like he started walking and then running and hit the kaiju with the giant boat, or yeah, it was a boat. and that was one of my favorite scenes. And also because it did the whole like, it gave the robots weight. And this one didn't really do that. They felt more like a Gundam than anything else. And with that size, it didn't remind me of a Gundam. Well, a Gundam-ish. It reminded me of a big... I forgot what the giant-ass robot is in the Gundam series. But it reminded me of something else rather than just a giant robot. It felt anime more than it wasn't the same feeling or the same kind of premise as the first one. Like, yeah, they could have done better with this one, but I think they should have released a prequel and then a sequel after the that, so we would get more about the world, more how the Jaeger started, how the threat happened, a little bit more rather than a little clips here and there of how world went to shit after the thing happened. Maybe get our first kaiju attack maybe near the end of the movie, and then it continues like between, let's say if a prequel did happen, maybe the first kaiju attack was one of the things that caused the government to build these Jaegers to become noticeable. It's like, we must fight them. So it becomes a human uprising against them, not whatever the hell this thing was. Because you in the beginning of the movie, why the hell do you use a Jaeger for, like, I don't know, a police patrol or whatever that thing was? Because it was just the police. It was just a giant police officer. It's like, that's the biggest waste of a giant robot you could have. It's like, it reminds me of that episode of Earth's Mightiest Heroes with when Tony Stark was controlled by the Purple Man, where the whole world became controlled by Iron Man armor and other stuff. That's how it felt. Yeah, I don't want to feel that a Jaeger is just a giant police. I want to feel that a Jaeger is a giant robot fighting for the people to kill kaijus, to keep the world safe and at peace. Not whatever the hell this movie was, because it didn't feel like that. And then when most of them were destroyed, one of the kids died. I was like, who cares? I really didn't care about the kid characters in the first place. It's like, maybe if they were, I don't know, better? It's like, why make the kid a genius or anything like that? It would have been... I didn't like it. I'm not going to continue with this because I just didn't like it. It was a bad movie. And I don't like saying that about movies, mostly because I like to give them a chance. Sometimes, usually I don't care. But this one, it came from a really good movie, and then this one just became utter shit. That's what it was. So, yeah, that is all for now. And if you wanted to listen to this episode early before the video format, go check it out on Anchor, on Krabby Club. Same as this one. So that is all for now. Thank you all for listening, and until next time.